An average retiree in the US receives around $2,000 per month. Will that be enough for you when you get older? More importantly, do you have to wait until 65 to retire? In the US, about 20% of retirees work full-time, while 38% work part-time. Would you still want to keep working as you age? By following some simple steps, you could retire within 5 to 10 years and spend your time with loved ones on hobbies or whatever you enjoy instead of a job. It may sound like a dream, but millions of people have done it. Now, let's look at what you need to do to start planning for retirement in your 40s. You may have heard of the concept of financial freedom. Essentially, it means turning your income into enough passive income to cover your living expenses. Once you achieve financial freedom, you don't have to work to make ends meet. Even better, you don't have to work a job you don't enjoy. Instead, you can focus on work that truly excites you. There's no pressure of failure hanging over you because you already have an income coming in just like a salary. A step beyond this is the FIRE movement, known as Financial Independence, Retire Early. The goal here is to retire early, often in your 30s or 40s, by saving a large portion of your income for a period of time and investing it wisely. Don't get too caught up in specific ages. If you're in your early 20s, you could aim to retire by your late 20s. If you're in your 50s, you could still retire in your 60s. Even at 60, by managing your investments effectively, you can generate 3 to 4 times your current salary. You can even do this for your children, so that when they reach adulthood, you can provide them with a very comfortable life. It's not something every parent can achieve, but it's not impossible either. So how does this work? How can retirement come within such a period? The answer, as I mentioned before, lies in investing. The concept is very simple. If you can successfully follow these 3 steps, your retirement is not far away. Set aside money for investments. Make the right investments and be patient. Most people can manage to save and be patient, but they struggle with finding the right investments. When this happens, they become frustrated with the market, stop investing, and end up having to work their entire lives. To achieve financial freedom, or in other words, early retirement, you first need to do a simple math calculation. Determine how much you will spend per month during your retirement. Then convert this to an annual amount to see how much money you will need each year. For example, if you spend $5,000 per month, you will need $60,000 per year. The basic goal is for your investment's annual returns to exceed this $60,000. After accounting for expenses such as inflation and taxes, the remaining income should match or exceed your annual spending. For this, we need to look at what's called the real return. To ensure your real return meets your annual target, you need both a sufficient investment amount and a certain annual rate of return. When you multiply your investment by the annual return rate and subtract expenses like inflation, the remainder is the return that will cover your living costs. So what role does Bitcoin play here? The answer is simple: to increase your annual rate of return. Over the long term, no asset has surpassed Bitcoin's annual returns. Not stocks, not precious metals. Bitcoin has solidly maintained its position and seems poised to continue doing so. Despite significant growth, its potential is still very much open. Governments are now accumulating Bitcoin, and professionals are including it in their portfolio plans. What you should do is use Bitcoin to increase your annual returns and enjoy early retirement. The smaller your portfolio, the more you should allocate to Bitcoin. If your portfolio is a few tens of thousands of dollars, you could allocate more than half of it to Bitcoin. As your portfolio grows to millions, you can take a more conservative approach and shift toward bonds. The only thing you need to watch is whether your portfolio's annual growth will be enough to meet your needs. Since these calculations and results will vary for each individual, it's hard to give a precise example, but I believe you now understand the basic math. So, find a way to increase your savings or boost your investments. At the same time, leverage the power of Bitcoin. We've already discussed why Bitcoin can act as insurance for your investments. There are hundreds of reasons for this. Start small, gradually grow your portfolio, and keep a strong allocation to Bitcoin within it. You can also lock into a long-term investment strategy. Or if you prefer, learn to buy and sell at the right time using the small tricks I mentioned earlier to increase your potential profit. However, this is not necessary. Most of the time, buying and holding can be more advantageous. After you reach retirement, don't neglect managing your portfolio. You don't need to check the markets every day, but reviewing it every few months can work in your favor. Once it has grown enough over time, you can invest it all in interest-bearing accounts to maintain a low-risk, steady annual return and live your life securely. Passion and believing in your ability to succeed is half the journey. Use this method that so many people have followed and give yourself the opportunity to truly enjoy life. You will need to be patient for a while. Some people have the financial means and knowledge to achieve this freedom in just a few years, while others may take 20 to 30 years. You might be earning less and find it challenging to reach your goals. By increasing your financial knowledge, you can close the gap created by your limited financial resources. You may feel anxious when your portfolio experiences losses. Be aware of this in advance so that when those days come, you avoid making irrational decisions. Markets have good days and bad days. Don't follow the market on bad days. Don't waste your retirement money. Last but not least, give your children a substantial inheritance and yourself a life of freedom. If you don't do it, no one else will do it for you. Like this video and subscribe for not miss out next videos. See you next week in the next video.